Good afternoon, Kuzuzangpo, Namaste from Nepal, and Jojo Lapa from Newari. So I'd like to thank the organizing committee for selecting the paper to present here, and I also would like to thank the session chair to allow me to speak in front of this August gathering, and I also welcome you all in my session where I'm going to talk about the Yajñopavita and its stylistic chronology with special reference to Padmapani Avalokistesvara. So my paper is very simple. I will be talking in and periphery of a Yajñopavita, and I will be talking directly with the artistic development, the chronological development, specifically or particularly with the Yajñopavita. So that's sometimes been called the Janai in Nepali terminology, or we have many other terminologies for the Yajñopavita. So I just want you to get relaxed, and I know it's been very tiring day all, but please don't get into samadhi. So I make sure that you will have the opportunity to see some of the most beautiful images, beautiful sculptures that you have never seen before. So I dare to say here right now, and I will be going through it with the presentation. First, I give you some historical, information and background. In Nepal, the Padmapani Avalokistesvara that I am going to talk have, from the historical evidences, we have at least some historical evidence from around 6th century. And he's one of the most popular Buddhist deity in Kathmandu Valley, and I'm sure Padmapani Avalokistesvara, or simply Avalokistesvara, is very popular deity among the countries where Buddhism is prevailing. So in Kathmandu Valley specifically, they're rivaling the Buddha himself, in accordance with the number of images we have. With time, the compassion characteristics of the Avalokistesvara become intertwined with the attributes of the the deities that we have in Nepal. The Newar style that I will be focusing more. So the Newar style, as the previous, the speaker is also talking a bit about, it has a specific characteristics. The Newar style is further characterized by the lead form of the body and the very graceful showing hips, the folds and the dhoti, simple pattern with the stapling and flower heads, hang between the legs and are secured diagonally across the hips with the sash, while the sacred trade, it was extended almost to the knee. So that is the sacred trade that I'm going to, discuss on this. So here, this magnificent image of Padmapani Avalokistesvara, it was dated 13th century, and you might be wondering, it was sold in Christie for about $8,229,000. So just imagine, how beautiful that image could be, when we personally have the chance to see it. So Yajñopavita is something that we need to understand, because throughout the session we will be discussing the variations in the Yajñopavita from different timelines and how it's been changing over the time. So Yajñopavita is specifically, I will show you that I want you to remember, what is actually the Yajñopavita. I think most of you know about it, but those who don't know, so this trade is coming down from the left shoulder. Okay, can you see? So this one, that is coming down, and it makes a certain loop, and it's going upward, and encircling the torso. So this is what we call the Yajñopavita. And Yajñopavita doesn't need to be only the sacred trade that it has to be. Actually, we have in Kathmandu, we have the Vajrayana priest, they have many different kinds of Yajñopavita. we simply not only concentrated with the sacred traits. We have many names to call it. Some of the names that we used to call it like Jozonka. So it sounds some little weird for you. Jozonka, or sometimes we call Kokha. And the color of this Yajñopavita is different with different puja also. So for some example, I can say the red Yajñopavita is used for the Vajrasattu pujas, and green Yajñopavita, that trait will be used for Tara. White is used for the Avalokitesvara, and in most of the pujas, most of the rituals, so we've been using the white color Yajñopavita. And very interestingly, we have the Dasa Karma, the Vajrayanic practice for the 10 karmas, 10 rites that we have to perform every single person. So among those, one is called Ihi. Ihi is the Ihi is the puja performed for the girl who is in a who is before, like you can say, before the menstruation cycle, or who is in a puberty. So that Ihi, we also use the Yajñopavita. Interestingly, the size, the length of the Yajñopavita is 21 times the height of the girl. So the Vajracharya is making the 21 times the height of that girl, and making puja using the sacred trait. So these are something we have still in practice in Nepal. And it is also considered to be very sacred, because the Vajracharya who is performing different kinds of puja, he just put the yarn of that sacred trait in an altar and do the puja. After the completion of it, he distributed all the audiences. So this is also one interesting part. And whenever the Vajracharya is doing puja, whenever he is reciting the mantras, while he was talking about the trait, he pronounced the word, the Yajñopavita, as the Vastra Lankara. So the Vastra Lankara is, if you try to dissect it, Vastra means the clothes, and Alankara means the beautification, a kind of a jewelry. So Vastra Lankara in a form of a trait, in a form of a Yajñopavita, can be seen in most of the cases, or in many types of the deities. Okay, so here, two of the most ancient images from Nepal. The first one you are looking at is dated around 6th century. This one is found in Kuleshwar, and he is Padmapani. The another one is dated 550 AD, and it was again from Kathmandu, Ganabahal. So the first one, if you can see it clearly, so I just want you to remember the Yajñopavita, right? So if you can see, the person is completely bare. He does not have the Yajñopavita. So at the same time, the contemporary images, this one, I'm not sure whether you can see the image properly or not, but here the Yajñopavita is coming with natural forms. It was, of course, not that protruding. Just having a very simple chiseling, very shallow chiseling you can see here, and it's just coming out, in a Upavita fashion. So this person, this is the way he is wearing is called Upavita. So this Upavita fashion, and the Yajñopavita is coming with the natural folds. The artist doesn't seem he wanted to give any sort of aesthetic decoration for the Yajñopavita during the time of the 6th century. So how we come to know about the 550 is the inscription here. So there is one Mahendramati. She is the Mahendramati who has very devotion towards the Padmapani Avalokistesvara, and she just donated, or she just installed this image in order to make all his forefathers and all the generations to go to some good realm. So the important part is this one considered to be earlier 6th century images. And this one is 550 around because there is some indication of the king Namadeva. So here, the part, this element that you are looking at is having a very close affinity, you can say, with the Bhutan style of the ornaments. However, the art is sharing the same sort of that is particularly called the muyur. So it's like dancing muyur, dancing peacock. So this is in a design of that. But interestingly, this picture does not have the Yajñopavita, whereas this one is, you can see having the Yajñopavita of a same contemporary time. So this one is more connected with the Indian style of work, Buddha style of work, and this one has the Buddha idioms, and at the same time, the Nepalese have their own style of representations because the body portion, if you are looking at, is little choppy. It has muscles, a kind of a swollen body, which is characteristic features of the Newar style. And we often call it, in a Sanskrit text, we call it Rista Pusta. So Rista Pusta means you are very fit, you are not thin, you are not, you don't get enough volume, but you are okay. So this is what the character of a Newari art style is. So the iconography, as we all know, it's the image writing technology, or we can say the science of the image or the icons. And what is interesting for me is like the Kumaraswamy, one of the leading scholar in iconography. He's strong to believe that the Silk Sastras were very much in fashion, earlier during the Gupta period. And let me remind you, when there is a Gupta period in India, we have a literary period going on in Nepal. And the Guptas and the literary period, they have a very close relationship. So, based on that, whatever the Guptas have, like the typography, the iconography, the text, the inscription styles, everything, they've been have a close relationship with them. And also they have what we can say, the matrimonial system as well. So that is something you can trust, like how the influence of the Guptas from India was implemented in a Nepalese context. So that may be the case, and also it's also very interesting to note that there is always a close juxtaposition between the dress and ornamentations worn by the people of a country and the same shown on the bodies of the gods worshipped here. This is the common thing, We are in Bhutan, so we see most of the people wearing the Bhutanese dress. So maybe you can see the dresses with the Bhutanese dress as well. It's a very common sense. So that is, we can get it from the Sanskrit text. They say, Desang Rupa Bhusama Vesa Ankara Murti Bhya Karya. So I'm going that little. So here, two of the images. The first one, first time when I saw this image, I got confused with the Indra. Can anybody, say why? I mean, you have to convince yourself why this image is of Indra.
There's a eye on his forehead.
Yes. So this is a very characteristic feature, and that is why I say the iconography is very, very important. If you can imagine, if you can see, I'm sorry, this is just a very, very sallow thistle to the eye, the horizontal eye is there. But he is definitely not with his usual form of, the depictions. Indra does not wear this type of, triple lobe crown. He has a mitre, and often he been shown sitting, or maybe, in Nepalese context you can see the Indra is, doing the posture, as like it's a yogic posture, like, he's just extending the hands like this. So this is not the case. But the important, what I want to make you convinced is that this one is dated 742 because here we have the inscription. And the Yajñopavita you can see here, it has a different form of depictions. So this extra loop, which is missing in the 6th century image, now you can see, or it just started to appear. And the Yajñopavita is not only, used in the Padmapani Avalokistesvara, but also in the Hindu deities for sure. But interestingly, what is we can see is here is the Vajrapani of the 11th century. We do not see the Yajñopavita. So the next point I want to make it clear is there is a cross-cultural. We have every time the borrowing of the styles. Here in the image of Vishnu, you are going to see the Yajñopavita here, and here of a 1105 CE, you have the Yajñopavita that has a different style of depictions. Okay, Yajñopavita seems so common to the deities from the Lakshmi period and before the Lakshmi period. So the time of the Lakshmi period in Nepal we can consider before, we consider from 4th century to 889, that is the 9th century. So before the Lakshmi period, we do have some of the statues, we have some of the images. We have earliest, we got the image of Tribhuvan, which is dated 185, that is in the Tommy Museum, in the National Museum of Nepal. You can see there, which is pretty big in size. So that one is the earliest, the dated with the inscription, image we have ever discovered in Kathmandu. Maybe we have many more, but for now we have going that far. Okay, so there is, the 10 rites that I have just mentioned. During that 10 rites, we have different, the occasions where we have to shave our head, doing, pretending like you are going to the Gurukul, for the studies and something like that. At that time also, we used to have the Yajñopavita in a different form. So here, the 7th century Stanford image that has a different story. It has the beaded, the Yajñopavita with a certain look that is in metal. So this one again with the 7th century Bhakavaha, very important Chaitya. So you have different images. Yes, and after the 8th century.